If you ever doubted the power, the reach of social media, I want you to listen really closely to this story. And we're going to warn you up front. You might find some of the language a little rough. So here we go. A high school senior on a youth and government field trip tweets to her followers at the time, all 65 of them, blasting this guy, Kansas Governor Sam Brownback. So today, this young woman is at the center of an internet storm. So let's start with her. She is 18-year-old Emma Sullivan and her tweet. Apparently, as the story goes, she was standing with a group of students. She was listening to the governor speak, and she tweeted this, and I can only read part of it for you, speaking of some of this language. So she's tweeted, quote, just made mean comments at Governor Brownback, told him he sucked in person, and then she follows it up with a crude hashtag. So the repercussions from that tweet were swift. The governor's office saw Emma Sullivan's tweet. They then contacted the youth and government program, and then Emma got called to the principal's office and told to apologize.
He started off with saying that he had to do a bunch of damage control and I needed to do damage control and that I needed to fix this.
Emma has the full backing of her mother. Here she is.
I think it was a cowardly move for him to go after her. This is the lingo for this generation, you know, and it's not entertaining if she said, well, my political views differ, that, you know, and went on to explain in a more intellectual form.
So since the story broke, I mentioned she had initially 65 followers. Last time I checked her Twitter site, it was like 8,000 plus. This whole thing blown up on social media. In fact, I want you to take a look at some of the reactions, some of it coming from you as I was tweeting this out today. Quote, Emma Sullivan should be applauded, not criticized. Just how much power and influence should Brownback have? Another tweet, Emma Sullivan is a spoiled brat who probably doesn't even know why she was tweeting about the governor. Another one. Not sure I get an adult acting like a teen to try and show up a teen acting like a teen. Emma Sullivan on the phone with me from Fairway, Kansas. And Emma, we should point out, you just got word from your school district. Principal had given you a deadline today, right, to officially apologize. And now they're backing off that. They say that this should be a teachable moment. So, Emma Sullivan, what have you learned?
I've definitely learned the power of social media, for sure. I've learned that people will see what I said and that my words do have an impact and that everyone's voice will eventually probably be heard.
Emma, let's go back to your tweet. Why did you tweet that in the first place? Why did you think that about the governor?
It was a decision on my own part to kind of joke around with friends. I didn't mean to get his attention or to cause an uprise like it has. Just I wanted to, you know, continue the conversation with my friends. We were all standing, joking around, kind of saying things they would like to say, and it was just kind of spur of the moment.
So it was a joke with friends, but guys, let's pull the tweet up again, because given some of the words, have you ever met the governor? Did you have any kind of conversation with him while you were there last week to at all prompt you to tweet this?
I follow his policies, and my sister does regularly too, and she keeps me updated. He was actually at the time talking about his plan for the education and funding, and me and my friends are at that point where we all are registered to vote, so we do have to keep up with the government. We all are in government class, so I do know his background, and I do know what I believe in, and I know what he believes in, and I know that they don't match up.
So just so I'm clear, you've never met him?
No.
Okay. Did you have any idea, Emma, that your 65 followers who initially got that tweet would turn into 8,000 in a week? Did you have any idea the story would blow up the way it has?
I had no idea whatsoever. I didn't think it would get any bigger than me getting called into the principal's office.
Would you, if you were to ever meet the governor, would you ever use that kind of language if you were speaking with him face to face?
I wouldn't use that language. At that time, I was speaking to my 60 followers, which are a bunch of teenagers who wouldn't take the time to read the tweet that said, I disagree with Brownback because of this and this, you know, very actual critical words and mature. My friends are still teenagers. If I said something that used their language and something they could relate to, of course they're going to read it instead of me droning on about something too serious for them to comprehend.
Well, let me let you know, we here at CNN, we reached out to Governor Brownback's office, and we actually have heard back from him. So I just want to read part of the statement that his office sent us here. I'm going to quote: "My staff overreacted to this tweet, and for that I apologize. Freedom of speech is among our most treasured freedoms." So they're apologizing. Are you still not apologizing for any of your language you used in the tweet, number one? And number two, would you be willing ever to sit down with the governor and have an actual conversation?
I wouldn't mind maybe voicing my opinions to him. I'm not a politician myself, so I can't sit down and tell him this is what you need to do for, this, and this, different policies, or what he needs to do to help our education system. But I wouldn't apologize for the tweet itself because, like I said, that was aimed towards my audience. It wasn't aimed towards him. I wasn't talking directly towards him. It was to my high school friends.
Emma Sullivan, standing behind her tweet. Emma, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it, calling in from Kansas.